Is Beaumont liable for the conduct of her participants after they left her party as a result of her supplying alcohol at her home? And when Wall v. Hollingsburg and Jordan House, the hotel was held liable for the injury caused to the victim of a motor vehicle collision in which he was ran over by a car and who was impaired and subsequently sustained damages. Unlike the situation in Hollingsburg, where the patron was forced to leave, and in a place where people generally can stay the night, Beaumont did not ask the partygoers to leave. They left on their own, and there is no reason to conclude that Beaumont invited any of these participants to stay the night in her home. In Hollingsburg, the patron was a victim. However, in the case of Beaumont, Charlie and Jamie were not the victim. They were the responsible party that caused the collision. To what degree the alcohol impaired the judgment of the patron at the party, it is unclear, if at all. Also, in the situation of Beaumont, it is not clear if Beaumont was serving the drinks, as was the case in the hotel situation. Simply supplying the drinks and not pouring them for the patron is sufficient to establish the patron was in control of how much they drank on their own accord. It is unclear if there was service at the Beaumont party or if the patrons were serving themselves. The reputation of Charles is concerning as well, as he is known as a party animal, and his reputation could damage the claim of responsibility due to his previous engagement and possible other instances of drinking more than is reasonable. The incident in Charlie, Jamie, and Tom is referred to as an accident. Although there were serious injuries, the term accident generally concludes that there was no intentional infliction of harm. The matter was concluded to be accidental as opposed to negligently or recklessly. Finally, it is unclear if Beaumont was also drinking at her own party, while she could lawfully drink in her own home. Whereas in hotels, laws prevent the alcoholic consumption of beverages by those parties who serve the beverages. If it is known that Beaumont would consume alcoholic beverages at her own party, therefore, in fact, her own judgment of potentially stopping Charlie and Jamie was known to be potentially impaired. The patron should have relied on their own judgment of when to stop drinking and when to leave the party. It is likely that Beaumont made the assumption that Jamie was a designated driver, since he was not officially invited to the party. Beaumont is not responsible for the conduct of the patrons who voluntarily left her party after having consumed alcoholic beverages because they left at their own accord. They caused damages rather than having been the victim of damages, and Beaumont, while she supplied the alcohol, was not herself serving drinks. Charles' reputation could impact the claim of responsibility. He brought Jamie with him, and Beaumont could have concluded that Jamie was a designated driver.